Welcome back to Asia First. The uncertainty during the pandemic has not deterred retail investors from jumping into the stock market. Some people have more savings after spending more time at home and less time traveling, and they've been looking for investment opportunities amid the biggest health crisis this century. More and more Asian investors have injected their funds into U.S. markets. Liquidity is higher thanks to trillions of dollars in fiscal and monetary support. Wall Street has seen record after record, and the main indices have seen double-digit gains year to date. That includes the tech-heavy Nasdaq, up more than 11% this year, nearly 40% in the past 12 months. More Asian tech companies are also flocking to America's capital markets, especially those from China, which are shrugging off tensions between Beijing and Washington. Last week, shares of Chinese startup Kanzhuan, the operator of the online recruitment platform Boss Zhipin, saw its shares nearly double during its Nasdaq debut. Now, keeping investors up to speed on all of this is the Nasdaq Investment Intelligence Unit, which maintains Nasdaq's suite of indices and provides data analytics as well. And very pleased today to be joined by Lauren Dillard. She's Executive Vice President and Head of Investment Intelligence at Nasdaq. She joins us from New York City. It's been an interesting year, to say the least, Lauren. How have market dynamics changed in this period of time, especially as we see this wave of retail investors?
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to join you. You actually covered it quite well in your intro. We saw a record number of retail participants entering the market, which we believe at NASDAQ is overall a good thing. Our purpose is to drive inclusive growth around the world, and inclusive growth means more participants in the market. We want them to have a frictionless experience, but also to make sure that we provide retail education. So in addition to providing data to our brokers around the world, including in Singapore, we also partner to do a lot of investor education.
That's an interesting point you bring up, because when we saw the meme stock traders and how they were entering the market, they caused a fair bit of volatility. A lot of people raised issues that it was speculative. Are these retail traders actually wading into stuff that they know about? So how does NASDAQ actually help that situation? You talk about the education aspect of it.
Yeah, well, we have our own smart investing, which covers various pieces of the market, understanding market structure, understanding indices, you mentioned, understanding trading. So we, of course, have smart investing within NASDAQ, but we also partner with our broker clients around the world to make sure that their participants or their clients are educated. We do a whole host of events. In fact, we're rolling out actually some education in July. So, and it's not just on trading. That's, of course, a very important part of our business and a dynamic we saw over the last year. It's also investing in diversified portfolios. We have a suite of indices around the world that have seen growth across Asia, as investors not only just want individual stocks, but want access to diversified portfolios. And we believe the NASDAQ 100 and its diversified, its various products really represent sort of the future innovative companies that are driving this digital economy.
Can you elaborate a bit further? What do you see as the prospects for Asia?
Yeah, it's such a good question. We see growth across Asia. We partner with brokers, as I mentioned, Tiger Global, Futu, education. We see increased participants in the market. If you move over to our investing products, we've seen record growth of our AUM tracking our ETFs, and frankly, our number of products that are entering the market across the region, again, with investors seeking interesting diversified portfolios. The NASDAQ 100 is the 100 non-financial companies listed on NASDAQ. There's also the next 100, which are the next innovative companies that that are listed on NASDAQ, and a whole host of other type of access. And that's where investors nowadays, retail investors, want the same interesting opportunities that institutional investors have long had. And that's what we're trying to drive growth. We also, of course, serve the institutional asset management community. We have a platform that is sort of the institutional database for institutional asset managers and asset owners as they're looking for flows and looking for ways to position their products. So we really serve from the largest pensions to the individual retail investors.
You serve retail, you serve institutional investors, and the common trend among them is that they are looking at products that are more inclusive, and they're looking at ESG issues as well. How do we ensure that when entering the market as an investor is not just a box-ticking exercise?
Yes, I mean, we actually just rolled out the Era of Impact. We have been focused on ESG and on DEI and driving diversity and inclusion. And we have a variety of products as we've sort of been working with our clients on the way they want their exposures. We have a proposal with the US regulatory body here, the SEC, to drive disclosures around board diversity. Again, just a table of disclosure, again, to try to make sure, our mission is to provide the data and the transparency. We have a similar effort underway to serve the institutional asset manager community and the asset owners off our platform eVestment, where we have an ESG and a DEI questionnaire that actually gathers information in a very consistent form. The key around all of this from our perspective is frictionless and standard data, making it normalized so that when you're assessing your portfolio, whether you're an individual or whether you're, again, a large asset manager or asset owner, you actually are looking at standard data. And we're really trying to do that, again, both for the retail investor, but also for the large institutional investors.
And we keep seeing, this market rebound, even after last week, those Fed comments on tightening might be coming a bit earlier than some participants had expected. In this environment where we could be seeing higher rates sooner than some might like, does this affect the kind of tools or products that NASDAQ pushes out?
We provide technology and data. As you know, we power the Singapore exchange with some of our technology. And so what we want to provide is making sure that we provide data that have transparency for however investors want to express themselves or however they want to adjust their portfolios in these times. I mean, it's been volatile. And so our job is to provide the tools, the technology, the data for transparency, whether it's for the retail online brokers using NASDAQ's data, or whether, again, it's for the institutional community using the asset management data so that they can adjust their portfolios and they can make the best investment decisions for their beneficiaries or for themselves. So that's our objective here. Again, that drives that inclusive growth. It's really providing fair tools to the entire investment community.
Lauren, thank you very much for sharing those plans for NASDAQ. Very exciting times. Lauren Dillard there, Executive Vice President and Head of Investment Intelligence at NASDAQ. She joined us from New York City today. Let's also take in the market today because the Asia